The universe doesn't make mistakes. Nothing is a fluke. You are not alive and breathing on this planet because of impossible odds. You couldn't not have existed. It was a 100% guarantee because you are the universe, and the universe is you. The whole universe conspired to make you. You are here for a purpose. You are here on purpose. You are the universe in this moment. Welcome to Path to Peace with Todd Perlmutter. I'm your host, Todd Perlmutter. Our world is a projection of our collective consciousness. The more peace we bring into our lives, the more peace we bring into this world. So let the transformation begin. Everything happens for infinite reasons. Infinite causes lead to every effect. And these causes can be traced back for eternity. If one thing were different, then everything would be different. Just as the universe didn't come into existence by accident or mistake. Nothing in this universe that stemmed from its own existence can be a mistake. The choices we make stem so far back to before we were even born. Everything we feel like we experience as a mistake or a failure is the universe nudging us back into the right direction. It is reminding us of something we needed to learn or some area we needed to grow in. We are not separate from the universe. We exist as part of the whole in relationship to the whole. We are the current expression of the universe in the space and time we inhabit. These bodies we inhabit with the large language models inside each of our brains that generate the thoughts that we witness all arise from causes and conditions far beyond us. And if we could see clearly, we would see that the thoughts that pop into our brain are caused by the entire universe. The physical bodies we have are caused by our entire society, the whole of the earth, all life on this planet, and the entire laws of physics that govern this universe, that created the stars, that created the planets, that created us. We do not exist as a separate entity, as much as it appears that we do. We know ourselves through our relationship to everyone and everything around us. This is how we understand our place in the world, our relationship to the world, and that relationship is what truly matters, because that is who we truly are. If you were truly separate, if you were floating in empty space, and that was all you knew, and there was nothing else as far as the eye could see, we would not know how big or small you are, whether you're upright or upside down, whether you are left or right on the political spectrum, whether you are devout or an atheist, dark or light, smart or less smart. Every single thing we think about ourselves is in comparison to everyone and everything around us. This is why the ego, that grasping part of our mind, trying to analyze and interpret and understand and protect and fend off threats, is always sizing up everyone else, is always taking a position for or against something, because it is trying to strengthen its sense of self, which to the ego means comparing and competing. The ego, that thinking mind, is the dualistic nature that we witness from our place of consciousness. It is the duality expressed in this physical body of ours that we inhabit, so that we can exist in this dualistic, illusory world of form. That ego is the entity that says there is a me and there is an other, and that is the dualism. But just above that dualism within us and the multitude of forms around us, there is that dimension of source, the source of our life, the consciousness within us that can perceive the apparent separateness. Ultimately, everything is made of the same stuff. There is no difference. It is all just quarks and protons and all of the subatomic particles vibrating slightly different. And that source connects everything like a web. And this web is the relationship. And this relationship is everything. It is the magic. It is where true reality lies. It is invisible, but it is the most important thing we can put our focus on. It's kind of like if a large bottle of alcohol is sitting on someone's desk. And if that person has a wise relationship with alcohol, then they don't notice the bottle. It doesn't bother them. It's just another piece of matter in their perceptual awareness. And if that person has an unwise relationship to alcohol, that bottle will be that person's torment and that person's poison. It's not the alcohol. It's the relationship. And in this way, every single one of us, our problems, our relationship to the world around us, affects everyone and everything. This can be hard to see at first, especially if we are looking with our physical eyes. But when we can quiet the mind, we can begin to sense how everything in nature, everything in our society, works together, either harmoniously or disharmoniously. But either way, everything is intricately connected. Like how every piece of a bicycle is essential and equally as important to the functioning of that bicycle. Every atom and organism is part of this system of the universe. What we do impacts our neighbors. What they do impacts their neighbors. There is no such thing as being isolated in this universe or on this planet. And one of the reasons we have a hard time seeing this is because our ego is convincing us that we are good and right, and that others who are different are bad and wrong. And we are denying within ourselves the truth that we all have good and bad, wisdom and ignorance, mindfulness and moments of mindlessness. We all have Buddha nature, and we all have Hitler tendencies. In another life, we could be a corrupt politician that we are angrily tweeting about right now on our phones. Or we could be Gandhi. The only difference between me and anyone else, and yourself and anyone else, is your past, your ancestry, your experiences, and your biology. From there, we can only hope that we are able to develop the presence, the mindfulness, to stop reacting unskillfully, to stop letting other people's negative words and actions impact us, so that we break that cycle, that chain of karma, that cause and effect that so often just spreads through society without our wisdom and presence to dissolve it. That is really why we are all here. To learn to become a source of good karma. To dissolve the bad effects of the past. And to create positive seeds that will grow in the future. This planet we are on is either a prison of mindless reaction, or we can liberate ourselves, become truly present, and discover this power to actually have choice, where we are not impulsive, where we are not reacting and getting lost in a thought storm, enslaved by something someone else did or something that happened to us, and that puts us in this obsessive mental state that we cannot escape from, where we are just totally lost into a sea of despair and pessimism and negativity, so that we can all reach this place one day where even if negative things happen to us, we are the alchemists. We transmute that pain into purpose, so that no matter where we are born, no matter what our lives are, we can be that beacon of freedom that shows those around us how to also break free from their mind's bondage. And we will reach a time on this earth when we have Buddhas, meaning just the awakened one, awakened from their mind, from the trap of their ego and identity, and are able to wake up those around us. And when we have a higher level of consciousness, we can bring others up to our level. And Buddhas will be popping up all over the world and spreading like the greatest pandemic we've ever seen. Once it happens to you and you discover the heaven on earth that has always been here, but you were blind to see, this is what every sage of the past, every mystic, Jesus, and every Buddha has experienced. And they were able to describe it so that others could find it as well. And that number is growing. It is going to be exponential thanks to the connectivity of the globe through technology. And just like most of us are so grateful to be alive today because of the process that our ancestors went through to make this world a safer, more prosperous place. This is the direction that we are inevitably heading in. And no suffering today, no sacrifice, no injustice, no loss of life will have happened in vain, because we are a society standing on the shoulders of those who sacrificed to make this world better, and so too will our grandchildren. No pain is in vain. No noble effort is wasted. Our society is every single one of us. There are no forgotten people, because everything creates a ripple effect. And it is the people we find hardest to love, most difficult people to forgive and to love, are the people we must love the most, because they are the people who did not receive that love and compassion. It is those places we hate the most that need our love and care the most. And we must explore what grudges and angers are we holding on to? Who is your enemy that you have not identified yourself in them yet? And what of these conflicts can you let go of? Not with foolishness, but with the wisdom that recognizes the healing power of love. So often we are afraid to love because we think it would mean we just unlock all the prison doors. This would not be an act of love towards ourselves or our communities who want to live in safety. But we can make sure that our blind rage is not governing our system of justice. That we actually focus on our long-term goals of safety, which cannot be achieved through the justice system we have now, through one that is focused on retribution instead of rehabilitation. Too much of the world's problems today are because people hate each other, not because they love each other. Hating evil is not virtuous, and it will not eradicate evil. Only love can do that. So we have to really take a hard look at ourselves. Notice those tendencies in us that we try to ignore, that we try to block from our sight. Notice how we might do the same thing in someone else's shoes that they did towards us, or that they did that we disagree with. It's not easy, but it is something I talk a lot about in the book and the film, Finding Your True Self, A Love Story. And that film is actually coming out July 12th at 8 a.m. this coming Friday. And the book goes into more detail, but both touch on this issue of discovering that universe within us, that oneness that connects every single thing in this universe, that touches all of us, that is all of us. It is who we are, interconnected and one. It removes these labels that divide us and cause conflict, so that we can see the unity and not just read about it or understand it on an intellectual level. And this is the path to awakening, because once we understand ourselves, we become free from ourselves. It is like a prisoner getting a key and a map of the prison. Now they are free. And this is what it means to be awakened. This is to stop living in the dream of past or future or thoughts, so that we can actually wake up to this world we live in, to see those relationships, to see the interconnectedness, and to become free from our desires, from the pressures we put on ourselves. Because there is no pressure when you realize that you are the universe, here by cosmic plan, every thought divine, every intention and intuition coming from the universe itself. There is no self-pressure when you realize there is no self. There is no loss when we realize nothing was ever truly ours. And this is also something that I talk in great detail in my latest book, Grief and Spiritual Healing: Surviving Life After Loss. This is now available on Amazon as a print or ebook, and I hope it can bring some comfort to you and your family and your loved ones and anyone who may be going through this difficult time we all face in our lives. As hard as it can seem in these dark times, there is life after loss. That is why this spiritual path exists, because there was suffering. And in the words of my dear friend who lost his wife, his most beloved person in his life, at far too young an age, it took him down the road of self-discovery, of discovering spirituality from knowing nothing about it and being, as he would describe, the complete opposite of a spiritual person, and reached a place where he feels that his wife was sending him down this path because he was suffering that he didn't even realize. And he has now found a joy that he never knew. Life will change. The change is inevitable. When we stop trying to resist that change, it becomes a bit more bearable. And there is even love, laughter, and joy on the other side. Much love. You have been listening to Path to Peace with Todd Perlmutter. Being here and putting in this important and noble work is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself and others. If you found this podcast even a little helpful, please make sure to leave a review so it can reach others who may be in need. And remember, the path to peace starts with a single step.